Now you might be wondering, Matt, why are you in the middle of the screen? Where is the intro that we know and tolerate? All those questions and many more will be answered coming up very, very soon. Nah, actually we've got an intro now. That's what it is. Hi guys, and welcome to the first proper episode of Building a Nation with FC Midtjylland. If you're enjoying the series so far and looking forward to more, then do smash the like button, that'd be fantastic. If we could get 1,000 on this video, that'd be genuinely amazing. Now, I've not actually had that much time since the last episode in terms of game time. There was a lot less time in between than I actually thought there would be, but I've kind of been going over the same stuff that I expected I was going to be going over last time, so we've made ourselves a little checklist. Thing number one, get Pione Sisto, most importantly, on a new contract. Ooh, Pione taking all the monies, but there's no release clause, and that's the real quiz. Make sweeping tactical changes. Yep, we're certainly on our way towards that. Flail around while my brand new scout fails to find anybody within the first 10 days. Musa, I can't believe you've been in North Africa for 10 days now and not found me a single Yaya Toure. That is unacceptable, mate. You couldn't find Wally if he was burgling your house in broad daylight. Now that should kind of fill you in about what's kind of been going on this month. Now we've got Pione Sisto on a new contract. We have brought in a new scout. I'm looking at bringing in some more, but I'll see how the ones I've got do currently. We'll talk about that in a second. We've also improved the physios and the coaching staff to make sure that they're top notch. That and the fact that there was a gaping hole and we needed to really plug it. So we basically filled it up. So we've got the full amount of coaches. We brought in an extra fitness coach and an extra goalkeeping coach. Now we've got the best in the league, which is great. As for scouts, there was one more space, but I might switch it up a little bit because they're all from Denmark. And sometimes that can work quite well. I found on my Wimbledon save, I had a lot of scouts that were just had British knowledge and I sent them out to places and they were still finding players and eventually they gained the knowledge. By the end of that save, he had knowledge for days. We also brought in an excellent physio to try and boost us up because we only had the 7th best medical department. I may still boost that further and move some of the staff around, but for now I'm pretty happy with them. Just by bringing in a couple of extra scouts, or in this case one, we've managed to boost our world knowledge to 18%, but I hope that by the end of this save we should be approaching 40 because I've had Wimbledon up at 32 I think, which was pretty damn cool, but I want to try and get further and further up that list. But as you can see, we've got a lot of knowledge of Africa now, which is great, and that all comes from Musa El Habchi, which is fantastic. Hopefully he'll be able to find us some players, particularly in North Africa, but we're yet to actually see that. And of course I was only kidding about him finding players in 10 days. Of course I know he's not going to, but I just didn't realise how little time we actually had between then and now to actually find anyone, so there was no one of any note in any of our early scout reports. But that's fine, we've got time for that. Hopefully we'll find someone in the next episode to start looking at to bring some players in maybe by the end of the window. Who knows, you never know on these things. Now in pre-season, obviously we lost the first game against Sparta Prague, which is why I was just like, right, we need a nice easy game, so I cancelled the friendly against Slavia Sofia and decided that we'd get ourselves a nice easy one against Schering, and obviously we beat them 5-0, which was great, and it gave me a chance to do something I like to do, which is where I split the game into quarters and try different things every quarter and see what works by comparing the stats. Now of course that isn't always foolproof because of course players get tired, players get injured, tactics change, all that jazz, but the point is you can still sort of figure out kind of what you want to try and do. After that we had ourselves a cup competition, which I wasn't expecting to even be in. I didn't realise there was a second round to it if we got through, but we did. We beat Sturm Graz on penalties in the end, and then we beat Victoria Pilsen in the final quite comfortably. Now one thing I noticed about this tactic now is that some games, if we're dominating, we can be great, right? But against Pilsen, they had so much possession, and we just caught them on the break twice. Bish bash bosh, 2-0 win. Martin Pusic and Vaclav Kadlec have really impressed me so far in pre-season. I'm hoping they can continue that throughout. Now everyone's not fit yet, and we've still got injury problems, which doesn't help, but hopefully we won't need to worry about that today against Hibernians. This is essentially going to be like a glorified friendly, I'm hoping. Now if we were to get through past Hibernians, which let's face it, we kind of have no choice if we want to actually keep our job, I'm sensing, then hopefully we'll get drawn against a relatively easy side as well. That's the plan, to at least get us to the round that they expect us to reach, which is the playoff round, which means that if we lose there, we go into the Europa League, which wouldn't be such a bad thing after all, but I would like to get that extra Champions League money for this first season, because let's face it, this club is in dire need of a little bit of money, as you can tell from the fact that our balance is minus 2 million at the moment, which definitely needs to change, but it's definitely getting better than it was before. Thankfully the board haven't sold any players out from underneath me just yet, but don't worry, there's still plenty of time left in the transfer window for them to pull all kinds of douchebaggery, so we've got to be careful for that. Now one of the key parts of this tactic for me right now is Auntie Mabil here over on the right hand side. Now when Pione Sisto comes back, I sense this wing is going to be our main source of attack. Now obviously I put him on attack because I just felt like the way that that system worked in those first couple of friendlies just didn't feel quite right. We didn't have players in the right positions. It just didn't feel good. I felt that our attacking midfielder was doing nothing basically, and I feel like if we make him a playmaker, it has a bit more balance with a ball winning midfielder, which allows people like Singh and Sparv to actually play a bit more in the roles that they're used to, essentially. As for instructions, I don't think I changed anything from what I was doing as standard. Now I might be tempted to switch to attacking control. I don't know. I think being on standard gives us a lot more flexibility, and I'm hoping that will come in handy throughout the season. But again, as you can see, our match fitness is just not up to scratch yet. Next season, I will be hopefully starting the preseason a lot earlier than this one, if you get the option, because this is just unacceptable. You might also be wondering why this tactical is called Deep Domination 7. The reason for that is because every time I made a set of tactical changes, I saved it as a separate tactics file. That way I could compare and not forget what I'd done, basically. So a little pro tip. But of course, as you can see, the competency of the tactic is still pretty damn low, and that's going to take us a little while to build that up. Hopefully, once we start getting into the games thick and fast, and believe me, they are thick and fast, like twice a week, every week for about until the international break. Hopefully by the time that comes along, we should be completely fluent in the tactic and ready to go. So let's get in and submit the team. Sorry about that, guys. Had a little bit of a coughing fit there, which is not fantastic. I'm not feeling particularly well today. So we're going to make sure we're set up on the right one. Extended highlights from that last friendly. We're going to go on to between, goal action, and we are good to go. Now we're obviously 10 to 1 or 1 to 10 favourites for this game, which is not a huge surprise. I love that because they're Maltese, they've got some really interesting names, and then there's some really, really Anglic names like Bowman. But it's Dylan Bowman. Wow, we literally know nothing about him. You think my scout would have at least looked at the next opponent when he looked at the next opponent, but whatever. Obviously, I don't have all of my scouts doing my usual scouting. I've got one of them set to look at the next opposition, just because you kind of need that. It kind of helps overall. Right, so let's just get into this and see what we can kind of come up with. I think over the course of this game, we should be completely fine, and it should be a case of a simple win. But I wouldn't mind, if at all possible, getting enough goals in this first leg to basically mean that there isn't really much cause for a second leg. If we can get this out the way in the first leg, that would be simply fantastic. Now, a couple of things I do want to set up, but we'll have to wait until we go back on that, is, firstly, you can see what I mean about Filip Novak's long throws. He's only got 14 on the long throws, but my goodness, can he throw the ball fast. He's great. Number 70 as well. He asked for the number. And yeah, so that's hopefully the plan so far. Now, obviously I'm using the corner tactic that I've always used. Oh no, actually, look at the space at the back post on Mabil. Out wide for Roma. I find that this right-hand side, particularly with, oh my god, Paul, what are you doing, mate? Paul the Octopus probably could have scored that. Oh no. An injury inside 6 minutes. We're off to the perfect start here, folks. Right, okay. It's going to have to be Christopher Olsen, and that's fine by me, because Christopher Olsen literally is. Oh, he's a Trequartista. I swear he's a good playmaker as well. I feel like you said he was a good playmaker as well. But hey, if he's a Trek, then that's fine. Right, let's see what we've done so far. I found that a lot of games we were conceding possession, even against poorer sides. Now, this tactic, again, is still a work in progress. I'm sure if you've got any ideas, ways to improve it, do let me know. I'm totally open to that, frankly, at this point. Okay, so 63% possession so far, but not a lot of shots, which is interesting. Here we go. We only need the one, really, to give us the lead, and then we can sort of hopefully open some floodgates from there. But I would like to see a bit more from us in this game, to be honest. We've got no one on the posts at corners. I find that that doesn't really make any difference. Now, Dewland, he's young and he's got a lot of potential. And Milan, I think, have already put a bid in for him, to give you an idea. Novak, go on, get a good cross. Ball in, Onuachu, and that is what he do. Now, the big advantage of having a target man like Onuachu is he is so good in the air. And it does give us that long option from time to time, which we can use. Well, we've got it all kinds of times, basically. Now, he's just a very, very good player. He's really impressed me in pre-season. Now, I noticed that on the old version of the database, they had a player called Morten Rasmussen, who is called, interestingly, Duncan in the game, but I believe they sold him to Celtic, which is kind of annoying, but Onuachu is pretty decent as a replacement for him, and obviously we've got Vaclav Cadillac as well, the Cadillac of footballers. Alright, this is what I wanted to change. I wanted to get this set on their formation, so we can just keep an eye on it in case they do anything naughty during the game, to make sure that so we got 1-0 lead. Look at that, possession's just completely flipped on us. This is what I mean, and the cross completion has been woeful, but there's been a lot of crosses so far, and I'm wondering if maybe we... We'll look at the Prozone stats. Actually, we're about half an hour in right now, aren't we? So let's take a little look at the Prozone stats. Of course, sorry, it's a new day. Let's see. Right. Okay. Definitely to this... It's not like back on Wimbledon when I could just look at all the key passes and be really, really happy with things, but it's not like that. So, okay, I think right-hand flank is probably our best bet right now, and maybe hit some early crosses because we've got those big men in the middle. We love a low cross, which means if we play it in low, then of course we've got the likes of then we've got the likes of, I'm still learning the names here, Cadillac to get on the end of it, and if of course it goes high, then we've got the likes of, go on, just turn it back inside. There we go. Singh, he's got a long shot on him if he wants it. Harmeet Singh, that is an incredibly good strike. We've got ourselves a player that loves a long shot, but I think he's actually got a bit of prowess at them. He's not just a sort of mindless long shooter who'll shoot from anywhere, although we will do that too. But he gets the ball here. Goalkeeper probably could have done a little bit better with this. He's on the edge of the D. Long range strike. Actually, that's not a bad strike. 2-0 to Midtjylland. I keep saying Wimbledon nearly. And we've actually had a fairly solid first half so far. I mean, no, they're not a very good side. That's fine. But we did need this for some extra confidence. Not doing that well in possession. We really aren't. But maybe that's just the way their system is. That's fine by me. I'm quite happy to keep playing on the break, to be honest. If teams want to have the ball against us, then we can let them. But at the same time, I'm not going to go counter against a team like Hibernians. It just seems a bit pointless. We're definitely getting a lot of crosses from this right-hand side. Well, 3 to 1. That's sort of our ratio right now. But as you can see, a lot of the key passes are generally fairly long, which is fine. What I might do here, actually, is just try and move the ball around a little bit quicker in this second half. And maybe even... I want to see what happens if we push up higher and close down more and try the offside trap. I just want to see if it makes any difference in this second half, because maybe playing a slightly more high pressure game against a worse side might make all the difference, because the fact is I don't see them banging balls over the top and having huge pace to get on the end of it anyway, and even if they do, I don't think it'll make much difference, because I think that... So at this moment my camera died, which was fun, so to make sure that the bottom left hand corner of the screen doesn't feel completely naked, I'm going to put a picture of me wearing a giraffe onesie just to sort of fill the gap. See, that's what annoys me a little. Oh, good lordy. That's gone all the way. Now that I've said that, they'll literally go through and score. Maybe that was a terrible, terrible tactical decision on my part. We've got some really poor performers in that midfield, but we are winning the game by 2-0, and that is kind of what's important right now. Auntie, looking long, that's more like it. Win that, Roma, Mabil. Mabil is so important, right? Onuachu, just knock this back across. Don't shoot. There you go. Cadillac brings it down, and it's a good goal. That is 3-0 to Midtjylland. I think we win this 3-0, and we're pretty much set, which means we can rest players for that second leg. And believe me, at this stage of the season, that is of paramount importance. To have players rested going into that first league fixture against Viborg, that's quite important, because I want to make sure that we win that. I don't really know where they are in terms of reputation in this league, but I want to make sure that we get ourselves a few league wins under our belt as well, because obviously the Champions League is of utmost importance, because of course it's the competition that we need to do well in, because if we can get ourselves to the group stage, it is worth millions to us, and I think that that is so important for us right now, because we're not doing great for money, and that's a worry for me, because we're only getting 10% of transfer revenue retained. Not that we've sold anyone, but it means if the board were to go over my head and sell a big player for huge money, then I'd barely get any of the money anyway. Mabil, go on, Auntie Mabil. If you don't understand that reference, then you obviously didn't grow up in Britain during the 90s. This is all I'm saying. Sing to Mabil. Into Onuachu. Oh, just drop it back. There we go. Olsen, just slip it through for someone maybe. Oh, finds Cadillac. Oh, Vaclav. That was a good opportunity. We're creating more chances in the second half. And I think that might be because of the tempo. I'm not entirely sure. Right, who's underperforming in this game? Onuachu is actually doing really well. So I'm going to get Pusic on for Vaclav Cadillac. So I've got an itchy nose. And bang. Oh, we've already made one change. Right, okay. Who do we want to bring on? I'm going to get Royer on for Duland, because I know Mabil's unfit, but he's played a lot better. He's really important, and Royer I think is a better supporting winger than Duland is. And yeah, it's only 3-0, but hey, maybe we'll drop the tempo down a little bit now and see what happens this time. What's our cross completion like? Where is it? Cross completed 12. It's not special, it isn't, but they've not completed any, so you know, swings and roundabouts and all that jazz. Now what can we do for the final part of this game? I feel like we probably just grinding out the result. It's a 3-0 victory. There's not much more we can ask for. Clean sheet. Didn't really need to do a great deal in this game, and we have got ourselves the victory. It's not exactly the most exciting first game in the save. I appreciate that, but I felt we needed to start from the very basics. So again, if you got any ideas of ways I can make this tactic a little bit more, I feel like defensively it's actually fairly solid, but I feel like there's some ways that we can be a bit more creative with it, and I'm not entirely sure what they are yet. So if you have any ideas, do let me know. I'm always open to that. Of course, it won't be straight in the next episode, because again, I have to record slightly further ahead on these things. So let's get ourselves to the end of the game. Now, for the next episode, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do, because of course, yeah, I'd love to do the game against Copenhagen at home, but if we've got another Champions League tie in there, then it might be one of those games as well, which I sense that we probably will do. That's the plan anyway. But yeah, so anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed this episode, I really hope you have. I'm just trying to make things a little bit more snappy and keeping the episode length a little bit more compacted this time. That's the plan anyway. Then do drop a like on the video. Like I said, if we can get this to 1,000, that would be something else. It really would. I'd be pretty damn impressed, to be honest. But yeah, if you're enjoying it, of course, do that, and subscribe if you are new to the channel. And I will join you guys in the next episode for a game against potentially FC Copenhagen, but it might be someone completely different in the next round of the Champions League, and you'll see a draw for that, of course, if there is one. So I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.